For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
Okay, let's do it, Steve. Let's do it. Here we are.
I wish I could include this, and I wish people would laugh at this and have fun with this, but they're probably not interested in us, our drinking habits.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So maybe I'll put this as an outtake or something like that. But
cheers.
Anyway, hey everybody.
Hello,
everybody. This is. Well, you know what? We have a great intro. We have this great intro that we paid big bucks for, and hired from across the country, and this is, as you well know, as he says it, as our announcer says it, this is the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. All right, and those of us that are in the world, we all know it's not like that. It's B2B. B2B. It's like one word. B2B.
Yeah, it really is. But we didn't have him re-record it.
I liked it. I liked his voice.
It's kind of kitschy.
Nobody has said anything. Not a single person has said anything. And
no, he read it just the way we wrote it. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. It's great.
The average person doesn't know, but that's who we are.
What's your name? What's your name? Who are you?
Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad, marketing gunslinger, Maurice, Space Cowboy, all that stuff.
All those
not
things.
The rock star.
No.
And I am joined by my equally famous brother from a different mother, Mr. David Mayo Loomis, who is the author of an incredible book that I don't have in front of me right now, but just look him up, go buy it. And you should get it. He got some big props today from our little friend Michelle Jones.
Everything we do. Oh, did you see her email?
I saw her post, which I'm going to take. I take offense with, from her post, because she posted. You didn't see the post?
No, not yet.
I mean, she shows a picture of your book.
Yeah.
And then I think she shows a picture of you and me. Oh, of the podcast, because she promoted your book and this podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Which was very nice of her to do that.
Because I'm the star of both, right?
What she wrote was something along the lines of this book was written by this incredibly intelligent, super smart guy.
Yeah.
Dave Loomis.
Yeah. Accurate so far.
Podcast. Dave and his friend Steve Miller talk about marketing.
Just some random guy, Steve.
That's how she described me.
Incredibly intelligent and handsome Loomis.
Oh yeah, she just really built you up.
And a guy named Steve. A guy named Steve.
So Michelle, if you're listening to this,
she'll probably feature you in a future one, and then she'll marginalize me.
Okay, now we have talked about a whole bunch of different topics. We're approaching our 50th episode. We have talked about a lot of different, and by the way, as we were also just talking, which I found out to be very interesting, was that we are ranked in the top 10% of podcasts. I would say probably just top 10% marketing podcasts. And since there are only 10, well, I'm kidding. No, not just 10. But
if there were 10, then we'd have to be number one.
I know.
I'm just doing the math in my head, so we're not number one. Yeah. But there's many, and being in the top 10% is a big deal, and we will take it for now. Yeah. But we're shooting for the top 5%.
We're already approaching the top 10% in old people on the planet. So, got to think about it from that perspective. So,
okay. What's our topic today, Steve?
our topic today. Now, here's the thing. We've talked about a whole bunch of stuff, and a lot of it has been very, very helpful. Marketing, branding advice, sales advice, the good stuff. And sometimes we talk about stuff that's a little more. It's like more strategic, and not just specifically applicable. But I said, I want to talk about this topic today because if you are able to pull this off, you are going to be very, very successful.
Well, you've got me curious, and I know the listeners want to know what.
And here's what it is. Now, I will set it up by saying, okay, let me ask you a question, Mr. David Mayo Loomis.
All right. Shoot.
Are you a member of any airline loyalty program?
Oh, okay. Sure. Many. Actually, I haven't traveled as much, like many people.
But before COVID, what?
Sure, absolutely. A bunch of them, but United the most, because where I live used to be a United hub until they pulled it. But yeah, but of course. And the more I fly.
You know what level you are on the United program?
Well, I was 1K. That's what they call. It's right before global services. And I got treated very, very, very well.
Yeah.
But that was only for a year or two when I was like traveling internationally all over the place constantly.
Yeah, I got you.
So I've been everything from, bronze elite, silver elite, gold elite, whatever, 1K. I mean, all of them. All of them.
There are, and the benefits changed depending on it. Same thing with hotels.
Absolutely. But, the bottom line is the more you spend, then you get extra stuff.
So while these are ostensibly called loyalty programs, and there are many, many of these loyalty programs out there.
Yes, there are.
Department stores have them. We know that hotels have them.
Sure.
What any others come to mind of what types of?
The pizza shop on the has. How about the little punch card?
You know what? I've got. I left it upstairs, but my local teriyaki joint has that, right? We
have an Italian restaurant. I mean, I was shocked recently when this little Italian market, they actually clipped this little thing by hand and handed it to me and said, next time you're in, you only need 10 of these to save like $1. And I'm like, interesting.
Yeah. The golf courses that I play have those too, where, if you play 10 times, you get then you get to play for free. So what these are loyalty programs. They are based on like you said, they're based on the amount of money that you're spending with them, the frequency that you're going to them, things like that. And really what it boils down to is that they're trying to get you to keep coming back because every time you come back, you get closer to that freebie or something like that. Now with the airline programs, for example, now American Airlines was basically the founder of the frequent flyer program that kind of started this whole thing. It wasn't unusual, but they started that whole frequent flyer. Now I personally call it the frequent prisoner program, because what happens is that like you talked about being a 1K with United Airlines. I was an executive platinum for many years with American Airlines, and in fact I was actually above the executive platinum for a period of time where I was 1 year, go figure, I was one of the top 12 flyers in the country on American Airlines. And they took the 12 of us on a week-long golfing trip to Great Britain and flew us first class, put us up first class, everything like that. They took great care of us. Now, why did they do that?
That sounds great. Now, what did you have to flying? What the hell did you have to do to do that? You were never home.
I have in my bank If you go look at my program, I have 6 million plus miles on American Airlines.
Yeah. Did you know that you can go to another airline and you can tell them, I'll switch to you if you accept, my miles and all that kind of thing.
Here's the deep secret. Here's the deep secret. All the airlines know who you are.
Exactly.
I've been approached by, I used to get approached by these guys all the time.
Okay, so the that's a loyalty program, and
that's
there's
a loyalty
many
program.
Yeah, is that what this is about? This episode?
No, this is not a loyalty program. This is what I call. This is a step up and over from.
Yeah, it's a different animal.
It's a different animal. This is what I call be the club that everybody wants to be a member of. Now, when we look at loyalty programs, people want to join in the beginning because they kind of say, all right, if I like on, with the airlines, for example, if you fly 25,000 miles, I don't know what the little guys are, I don't know what the little flyers are doing to get there. I don't pay any attention to the little flyers. But it might be 25,000, might be 50,000 miles or something like that, where all of a sudden you become like a gold member. Okay. Sure. Yeah, and the gold member, you get nothing. I mean, you don't really get anything, but you get something, and you feel a little bit special.
You get to board third instead of fourth.
Yeah, fourth or fifth or something like that. Yeah. So you get to a point, and as long as you keep climbing up there, you never want to go backwards. Because and that is one of the most interesting things about like if we just say that the basic purpose of business is to create and maintain long-term customer relationships, then once we've got somebody in, we want to keep them in.
So am I hearing that you're like a really big fan of these loyalty clubs?
No, not really.
Loyalty programs? Okay.
No, I'm not a fan of the loyalty programs. So when it becomes a prison.
Yeah. Okay, we don't like the prison.
I'm totally okay with the idea that if people leave you, they lose something.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
There becomes because part of the decision-making process of moving from you to maybe a different supplier or something like that. Part of that is, what do they lose if they leave you?
Yeah.
So and so like you said. And absolutely United Airlines. I got phone calls from United Airlines, Delta Airlines, back in the day, Northwest Airlines. All what?
Can we pirouette to the club?
Yeah. So anyway, yes, you're exactly right. I need to pirouette to the club. So in my book, Uncopyable, one of the things I say is it's not enough to have somebody who is loyal to you. You want somebody who is attached to you. So you want
that.
You want to be a club that everybody wants to be a member of. Not that everybody do that. Not that everybody is they're afraid to leave or something like that.
No, it's otherwise. It's a pull. It's like a magnet, a pull, as opposed to a club. It's almost like a carrot versus a stick, or I don't know. Well, it's just you want to feel belonging.
It's an experience.
It's an experience.
It's a value for you that that they just aren't they aren't going to get anywhere else. They can't get anywhere else. See, I can go get miles somewhere else, right? I can go get miles on an airplane somewhere else. But so I'm going to give you a couple of examples.
Okay.
All right, and then I'm sure that you have some ideas of this yourself. But I'm going to give you my favorite example. My favorite example of a club that everybody wants to be a member of. Now, understand that when we say everybody is your moose, the target market that you're shooting for. You want the people who you are most specifically looking to sell to create as customers, clients. You want them to want to be part of the club. Now, imagine that you are a bourbon drinker. You particularly like you particularly like Kentucky bourbon.
I am a bourbon drinker.
Okay.
I don't even have to pretend.
Don't even. Yeah, you and me both. And so One of a company that I've been connected with on and off for many years. The reason I got connected to them was because they got me in their club, and that company is Maker's Mark. The distillery located in Loretto, Kentucky, Maker's Mark bourbon, and they make a very, very good bourbon. It's not the super expensive stuff. It's not the $1,000 bottles.
It's not Pappy, not Pappy Van Winkle.
It's not any of that stuff. This is just a very, very good bourbon, and they came up with a brilliant idea many years ago to create what they call the Ambassadors Club. Now, what I would the first thing I would say to anybody who's listening to this, even if you don't drink bourbon, join the Ambassadors Club. Okay. All you have to do is go to the makersmark.com website, and then look for somewhere in there is a little button that says Ambassadors Club. And you click on that, and then you just join it. It's free. Join the Ambassadors Club. Now, what happens is that when you join the Ambassadors Club, now this kind of goes back to the old Little Orphan Annie decoder ring club that the Christmas Story featured, right? And
of course,
movie Christmas Story. And, where you're in the club,
filmed in Cleveland, Ohio.
They're going to share secret messages with just the club members, on the radio show. Same thing applies here. You join the Maker's Mark, and then you get cool stuff. You get cool stuff from them, and they say, "Hey, thanks for being an ambassador." Now, here's what we want you to do. You're an ambassador. They send you business cards that say you are an ambassador. They send you coasters that you can use at home, but they also say, hey, you know what is really cool, it really starts the conversation is when you walk into a bar and you sit down at the bar and they walk up to put the napkin down or the coaster of the bar down or something like that. Instead, you throw out one of your Maker's Mark coasters.
Oh yeah, who has those?
You do.
An ambassador,
a club member, an ambassador.
A club member does.
Yeah, and what happens, and I did this a few times, and what happens is very often, in fact, most of the time, the bartender says, "Oh, you're an ambassador. You're acknowledged as an ambassador of Maker's Mark." If they don't, they say, "What's that?" You say, "You don't know what that is? It's the Maker's Mark Ambassador's, coaster, right?" And so you get to talk about this, "Oh, I'm a Maker's Mark ambassador," because you got official stuff, cool stuff. And then what they also do is periodically they send you cool stuff. Now, what the Ambassador Club, the people in the club, and this is very funny because every time I've ever done podcasts, interviews, webinars, stuff like that, and I mention the Ambassadors Club, inevitably somebody is on on in the chat or something like that going, I'm an ambassador. Last week I was working online with a company in Oklahoma City, and we had like 15 people sitting around a boardroom table, conference table, and I'm watching them stuff, and in the course of the conversation I bring up Maker's Mark, and I said, is there anybody in the room who is a Maker's Mark ambassador? And this woman raised her hand. She said, my husband is. Right. And so I said, tell us about Maker's Mark. And she goes, well, you join the club, and you know what? Then they put your name, when they make a cask of bourbon it needs to be aged. They put a plate on the front, and they engrave your name on the plate. And then they send you a picture of this plate on this barrel, right? And 2 to 3 years after, and they keep sending you information about this barrel, and that okay, oh, it's getting close, and then when it's finally all aged and ready to go, they say, okay, you can come to Loretto, you can come to the distillery, and you can get 2 bottles from your cask And when you get those 2 bottles, those bottles are going to have your name on it. And for those of you that know bourbon, you know that the Maker's Mark, the special symbol of Maker's Mark is the red wax seal that is on the opening. You have to break through the red wax seal to get through it. And that when you come and get your 2 bottles, you personally can do the dipping into the red wax of your 2 bottles.
Wow, that's an experience.
That's an experience, right? And they and periodically through the year, they hold events at the distillery, concerts and stuff like that, right? Only the ambassadors are invited.
Interesting.
And I was talking to the CEO, and he told me that the last time that they had an event, this was a couple of years ago before COVID, he said they had over 5,000 people who came to Loretto, flew in from out of town so they could be there for that event, be with the other ambassadors.
That's amazing. If you go to their website right now, they call it the Maker's Mark Ambassador Experience.
Yes.
And here's what they say about it. Maker's Mark ambassadors sure have a tough job helping spread word far and wide about their favorite expressions of Maker's Mark. In return, they not only get their names placed onto barrels at Star Hill Farm, but they also receive early access product and brand news, exclusive event invites, and maybe even a surprise or 2 along the way. Yes, becoming a prestigious ambassador now requires a special invitation directly from Maker's Mark. If you're interested in starting your journey, you can sign up below for the latest updates.
Yeah. And then they'll do tastings, online tastings. So like in Seattle,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
In the Seattle area, they said, all right, all the ambassadors in Seattle who are, all the people in Seattle area who are ambassadors, we're going to do an online tasting, and we're going to have as a special guest the person back in Loretto who is in charge of the actual tasting and the development of the formulas and stuff like that. We're going to have that person on, and when you sign up, it's going to cost you like $45 to sign up, because then we're going to send you a box that includes different bottles filled with different types of bourbons that we're going to be tasting through all of this, right?
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. That's great. That's an experience, the extension of the experience. Now, a lot of people
there's more.
There's
one more thing.
Oh, there's more. This is like, is this a Ginsu commercial?
This is like the Ginsu.
How much would you pay for that? Don't answer.
And the thing that all the ambassadors, when they meet each other, they talk to each other, they're asking about all this sort of stuff, but there's always one thing that they always bring up. Now, this is where you have to start talking to the people on our podcast.
I understand.
Who are not seeing what's going on.
I get it.
Okay, so here's one.
Okay, Steve is putting on a headband that says Maker's Mark. It looks like he's a runner from the 1970s.
That's exactly what it looks like, right? All right.
Yeah.
Now this is a what is it?
That is like some sort of a
little bitty.
It's a mini scarf.
Mini scarf.
It's a mini scarf.
Mini scarf. What would it fit very nicely around?
It's so mini, it looks very, very small around Steve's neck, but it might look really nice around the neck of a bottle.
Bottle of Maker's Mark. Right?
With its own little Christmas scarf.
It's a Christmas scarf.
Or holiday
exactly
scarf.
Right.
Holiday scarf.
Okay.
Wow.
What have I got here? What am I pulling out here?
It looks like a deck of cards.
Oh my gosh. It is a deck of cards. And what's on the deck of cards is a Maker's Mark specially designed deck of cards. Okay.
Wow,
and the last thing I'll share, even though I've got many,
he's got many other things.
Two more.
You must be a member of this club, folks.
Got to be a member of the club. But then there was a year. This was pretty funny. I can't get it all out, but
he's pulling multiple things
I'm
from
pulling
the
all
bag.
kinds of stuff out here. But,
Steve the magician.
All right, never mind. I'm not going to do that one. All right. But last year, the last one was and I still haven't even done this.
Oh, it's a Maker's Mark puzzle, folks. It's a puzzle.
Yeah, it's a jigsaw puzzle.
It's a jigsaw puzzle. And why not?
Of the distillery.
Of the distillery. Why not?
The distillery. I haven't even opened it up yet. But
why
anyway, the one that I didn't open up was actually like a mistletoe that you attach to your bottle. And then you walk around with your bottle and you get people to kiss you and drink your bottle. But this is the annual this is the annual Maker's Mark holiday gift. Every year they send something to us that is a special.
Really? Did you have to pay to be part of this club?
No, it's free.
But now I've learned you have to be invited. And I don't know how I'm going to be invited. I did sign up for the emails, but that's a first step. But somehow I'm going to have to be invited. I would venture to say
that if
can I pull some strings?
If you submit your name and you don't get the response, and I'm going to say this to anybody who's listening to this, if you don't get response, contact me.
Yeah.
I will reach out to the boss.
Perfect. Because I want to do that. And plus, for all you listeners, you probably don't care about this, but Steve and his wife and me and my wife, we're all bourbon drinkers, and we're all going to meet up down in Kentucky,
Loretto,
and do a little tour,
do a little dance.
Okay. Here's what I would like to contribute.
Yeah. So you contribute. Then let's talk about how people can see. This is not a loyalty program.
This is so far from a loyalty program.
Completely different from a loyalty. It's a club.
In fact, what I would challenge you to. Okay, people that are listening, one of the things you might be thinking is, you know what? This is called the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. You just gave a great example of a B2C product that has this cool club concept. That's great for them. We don't make bourbon.
That's right.
No. We make widgets, and widgets that we sell to another company that put it in a machine, and they sell their machine to somebody else to make something that gets sold to somebody else.
So what would you say? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say use your imagination, basically. I would say think about that club. Think about other clubs that you know about. Think about country clubs, and just brainstorm and think about, like, what is it that those things offer? Okay. And make just a laundry list of possible things, and then think, how could that possibly apply to my business? Mm-hmm. And I've got my own little cheat sheet laundry list that I made up. Okay. Because I did this exercise. So you anybody listening, steal all these ideas. Okay. But here it goes. And this could be for B2B, right? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, 100% B2B. Yeah.
So it's a club, and it's a membership of sorts. You figure out how to get in, but not anyone can join.
That's right.
Okay. You have to be invited.
Okay.
There are special services attached to this.
Yes.
There's access to other members. In other words, networking. Okay. Yep. And this is very important in the B2B space, especially when you can think about, like, what could you learn from other customers that are part of this club? There's amenities and benefits. There's certain activities that you can plan. There's a directory of members. Okay. What would you pay to be able to have a directory of the members of this club that's a B2B club about your business, other customers who you want to network with? Sometimes there's a clubhouse.
Yes.
It could be physical. It could be virtual.
Yes.
Password protected. Clubhouse. Use your imagination. I mean, 10, 15, 20 years from now, or if Meta was really wrong, 100 years from now, maybe we'll be in a VR clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
There's exclusive offers. There's swag. There's an ID. There's some sort of logo saying that you're a member. There's a badge.
It's like, and it's almost like having it's like having a secret handshake.
Maybe you can put it on your LinkedIn profile.
Right.
And then there's a woman named Sayana Ismailova from a company called Wild Apricot. And I'm just giving her credit because I Googled creative ways, membership benefits, blah, blah, blah. And she has a whole article about this.
Oh, awesome.
Entire article with all sorts of ideas, like 25 different ideas. And I pulled a few out. Special awards given to members. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Member of the month profile. Contests and challenges.
Right.
Discounts. Partnerships that only members can access. How about this one? Volunteer or community service. What if you're part of this membership community? Even the Maker's Mark Club could do that.
Yep.
How do you get back?
There's an organization in Austin, Texas, that is aimed at their primary moose is young single men under the age of 30. And this organization is called The Chive. And if you're easily offended, don't go to their website. Now, you will not see nudity or anything like that. They love to show women.
Should I be worried about anything that you're about to say?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because, see, this is just another example. Now, even though it's B2C, understand this. This is one thing that we really, really need to stress, that I stress to all of my B2B clients. And that is, we are still people doing business with people. That's the main thing we need to recognize.
Word.
In B2C, the people are buying for themselves. In B2B, they are people who are buying for their companies, but they're still people.
Okay.
Does
this have to do with volunteer and community service?
That's what I'm going to talk. That's why the Chive popped up in my head, was because the Chive, even though you go to their website, and they're mainly around an app that they have, and I love it because they call it probably the greatest app in the world. And I just love that. They took ownership of that. They just took the claim and made that.
Yeah,
and if you are one of their moose, if you're one of their moose, and you go in there, and they got pictures of beautiful women, throughout the whole thing, but they also have all kinds of other stuff about dogs and cats that are hilarious and things. It's kind of like a BuzzFeed, Reddit type of thing, but it's for their own gang. But they also are huge in charity. And they have their own chapters in cities all around the United States. And the chapters host these fundraisers for Army veterans, military veterans, and for people who are disabled and things like that, to help them. And they blast that out all over the place. They go, we are the people who are out to help other people.
So what is stopping? So I'll just throw out Timken, right? Timken is the biggest, highest share, old line manufacturer of ball bearings, steel ball bearings.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What they have customers in every city, every state, every country,
right,
in the entire world. What is stopping them from creating a network of giving back?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
And that's a club that people would like to be a member of.
Of course they would. Willingly. And they would buy more from Timken or continue buying.
Yep.
Not because, I bought 10,000 ball bearings last week or month or year, and I'm going to buy 12,000 because I'm going to get to a different level. I'm going to get to, whatever bearing level it is.
Yeah.
It's totally different kind of thing. Okay. I have just a couple little things, extra things, career advice, mentorship, online community, event calendar, share member content, organize a conference, e-learning, certifications. One of my clients who has roofing systems does have certification, and it's a badge of honor to be certified in certain, things that you can do, and they put that on their resume or their, LinkedIn profile or whatever. They need it to be able to work certain jobs. How about a VIP level?
Yeah.
Within the membership.
Within the membership, absolutely.
Yeah. Emeritus status.
Emeritus.
I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
And on and on. It's as long as your imagination.
Yeah, and the key
that's why I say use your imagination.
Is that the club we're talking about is not based on just numbers like the loyalty stuff, where you have to you buy I play golf 10 times at this golf course, I get a free ring.
No,
it's different. Not that. It's not I fly 25,000 miles. I'm now a silver.
Right, and we're not saying don't do that. I mean, that can be effective if you already have it.
But change it to where it's emotional. Change it to where it's emotional. Go to the personal. We all, I love that the idea of the Little Orphan Annie Club, because they didn't force you to buy something. They didn't force you to buy it, but they said, hey, if you want to be a member of the, you're going to get secret messages from us, secret messages from Little Orphan Annie. Well, what kid could resist that? I remember getting my Little Orphan Annie. Whoops, I'm really starting to show my age now.
Who is that? I've never heard of Little Orphan Annie. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's a good one. You got me on that one. That's very, very good. So, but right. if you can figure out a way to do this in your business, and remember, this can still be done with B2B. And I have a number of clients who are doing things. Certainly not as crazy wild as like a Maker's Mark or something like that. But at the same time, they are doing things that are very, very not loyalty based. They're based on they're part of a club where they're going to get value. When I used to have a club of 18 major national trade associations who owned the largest trade shows in the United States.
Right.
And every year, and they paid to be part of the club, but every year for 20 years, we had this club for 20 years. Every year for 20 years, we met 3 times a year. And Kay and I, my smoking hot wife, Kay and I would create these unbelievable experiences for these people, because that's what they were doing. They were delivering trade shows that were experiences. And we were trying to say to them, what you need to do is turn these trade shows from trade shows to experiences.
Right. And of course, I'm sure that anybody that's listening that is into motorcycles has thought of Harley Davidson.
Absolutely.
Which is another technically
club.
a B2B, thing. But, to talk about, building a following. I mean, how many thousands of people do they have that go to the Dakotas, in summer, right, and that go on pilgrimages to the museum? Right. I've been to the museum a couple times in Milwaukee, and it's just a brand. Remember, a brand is a promise of an experience.
That's right.
What experience are you delivering for everybody? But then what extra experience can you deliver? An extra experience for people in a club or a membership. I think we should wrap this baby up.
I was just going to say, take us out of here.
Let's do it. Not to just leave you hanging like all of a sudden, folks, but I think the wheels are turning with anybody that's listening to this, and I hope that you're going to think about how to apply this.
If you got questions, reach out to us.
Do it. Yeah, ask us. We would love to brainstorm with you about it. Yeah. It would be so cool. We love this stuff. So this has been obviously the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast with Steve Miller and Dave Loomis. That's it. That's really it. So long.
We love you guys.
Bye. We do. We love you. Thank you for putting us in the top 10% of all podcasts in the entire world. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing, keep on selling.